What's good, everyone? I hope you guys had a happy New Year's. Boy H Dog coming back with the first video of 2021. And if you're new here, go ahead and subscribe because I make great content like this. And with that out of the way, let's go ahead and get into today's video. Apparently, it seems that IO Interactive, who recently had an interview with Game Informer, which if you want to read the full article, link to it will be in the description box. And there was a part that kind of started making the rounds of the interview. The CEO of IO Interactive, Hakan Abrak, he spoke about how Square Enix lost faith in the Hitman franchise, and you might as well say IO as a developer. He said, quote, "It was called a Trojan horse strategy, just get people in, and if they like it, they will upgrade." Abrak says, "Maybe we'll get a whole bigger volumes in the start, and hopefully we can convert these people if they like the game." That was the strategy. The skepticism and what is this, and is this early access from a big publisher and whatnot, ended up being historically low sales, a historically low start. And over time, even our own publisher and owner back then lost faith. And in this interview, it does go on to say how IO Interactive bought their independence, kind of preventing them from either getting closed down or shipped off to another company. Now, in terms of whose bright idea it was to split a Hitman game up into episodes and make it episodic, I don't know if that came from Square Enix directly, and if it did, it rightfully bit them in the ass. But just to have an excuse just to let IO Interactive go and essentially would be throwing them under the bus. Now, if this was IO's idea, like, hey, let's release the first Hitman as an episodic way, which I don't think even then, which is worse, I don't even think then you should release an episodic game, especially Hitman, a franchise that's beloved. Now, I'm not saying that's a reason why the first game sold well. Could it be a factor? Absolutely. Could it be a situation where Hitman was just not as appealing in today's market? It's quite possible, especially with kids nowadays. And it's crazy to think that after this first game sold poorly, IO decided to let them go, and IO bought their independence, which they used the money, I guess, from that they got from the first game to end up funding the second game, which sold less than the first, because I checked on VG charts. It said it sold like 500,000 on there if you end up doing the math, which it kind of is. It's kind of weird that it sold less. Now, in the grand scheme of things, it don't really seem as bad, considering that the game didn't even sell 1 million copies. Well, what people gotta understand is IO is an independent developer now, so them selling that low, doing that low numbers, isn't that all surprising. But for the Hitman series, it's a mega yikes, you know what I'm saying? Because Hitman used to sell like absolute crazy, especially coming off of Absolution. Absolution sold like mad crazy, so it just didn't make sense why, 2 didn't sell well. But thankfully, the sales that was generated from 2 end up funding Hitman 3, which is supposed to come out this month, January 20th or 23rd. I'm not sure. Correct me if I'm wrong. But it's supposed to come out later this month, as well as, down the road, they're supposed to have this James Bond game supposed to be coming out sometime in the future. Now, this tells me that they must be making a good amount of money to be funding other projects, because if it wasn't, we wouldn't be getting a Hitman 3, nor would be getting a future James Bond title, which I am thoroughly excited for. Can't wait to see what it's gonna look like. So even though the Hitman franchise isn't really selling like crazy, I think in the end, IO Interactive got the last laugh at Square Enix, because they're the ones who lost faith in them as developers that they are. And now I think that they can kind of look back and laugh at Square Enix for saying this is why you shouldn't have got rid of us. But I think in the long run, it could be a situation where Square Enix may want to compete harder with IO Interactive, because I can imagine as their games get better, they will end up selling well. But with that being said, let me know what you think about this in the comments below. Do you think it was right for Square Enix to just have lost faith in IO Interactive and dump them? Let me know what you think in the comments below. Like I said earlier, if you enjoyed this video, please hit the like button, and most importantly, think about subscribing to the channel because I upload great content like this. And until next time, I'm out.